Hey guys, Ken Scott, Senior, U.S. Immigration Law Intelligence Analyst for www.usentryWaiverServices.com. Boom, you guys are already cleared to enter the USA if you come and see us. All right, guys. When we do videos like this, or I should say when I do it, depending upon which voice in my head is speaking to me, it's kind of like a fireside chat. So I'm not gonna get all fancy in an Armani suit and all that stuff, etc. Because the thing is, a lot of you guys like it when someone's like down to earth, whatever. That's me naturally anyway, but you like it when someone's down to earth instead of someone coming out like a nice stuffy suit and all like this. I mean, I can do that too. Don't get me wrong, but this is more me like the casual look. So I got the beach in the background. Um, got my EU organic wine right here. You guys can't see the bottle, I guess, but anyway, it's EU organic wine. So for this fireside chat, we're going to talk about debunking myths about U.S. waivers and Canadian pardons. I feel really comfortable talking to you guys like this. I mean, that's my natural self. This story, basically, this happened about 3 days ago. There's a gentleman that called. He's on income assistance over here in Surrey. So he's calling, asking about a waiver. So I'll skip the boring parts. The gentleman is using a lawyer here in Surrey. I think I know who the lawyer is. What the lawyer told him, part of it was not ethically right. Other part was totally incorrect. And the third part was, okay, yeah. She's doing a pardon for the gentleman. She told the gentleman that I feel so bad talking about it, but she told the gentleman that he might still need a waiver. The way she said it, like she said, he might still need a waiver, trying to imply that the pardon will cover him at the border. And she should know full well, or maybe she doesn't, but she should know full well a Canadian pardon is not recognized at DHS. And she also told him that if he needed a waiver, it would cost him like 5K. And he's like, okay, well, I'll just do the pardon. It's cheaper. Guys, that's straight bullshit. And the reason why, this guy's on income assistance. I've never been on it. Some of you guys have been, so you guys probably know the small amounts of money that you receive every month. And I got to thinking about that. I said, that's pretty rotten due to this guy. And the guy's on income assistance. Like, why are you going to do that to him? So she tried to. It sounds like she tried to imply that the pardon would get him into the U.S. without coming out saying it. And I called her out on it to him. I said, look, man, let me tell you straight up. A Canadian pardon is not recognized by DHS. I'm gonna say it again for some of you guys who don't understand. A Canadian pardon, let's say this is a Canadian pardon, it's not recognized by Homeland Security. Now, a lot of these discount waiver companies try to push the message, oh, get a pardon, the border won't find out. That's straight bullshit too, because they have other methods of finding these criminal convictions. And you guys got to remember, you try to do that, if the border fails, the U.S. government fails, you try to do obstruction or misrepresentation, whatever, depending upon your circumstances, you could be charged under 18 USC. That's U.S. federal law. You could be charged under 18 USC. And I'm not even going to go into statute number because I don't feel like looking it up. But you guys could be charged under 18 USC for that crap. You guys need to stop doing that. Stop listening to these waiver companies. And I guess now these lawyers. A Canadian pardon is not recognized by Homeland Security. Now, here's the thing with the Canadian pardons. The Canadian pardon itself, it clears you in Canada. It does not clear you for DHS. Now, in terms of having a pardon, you also got to look at the underlying crime. So let's just say you have a crime for 2 convictions for mischief. You get a pardon. Great. You're cleared in Canada. You don't need a waiver anyway, pardon or no pardon, because mischief does not require a U.S. waiver. So in that sense, that's fine. The pardon itself, I mean, it clears you in Canada. Great if you need to get bonded, get licensed, whatever. But beyond that, work related, why do you even need this pardon? Now, if you want like satisfaction, get cleared, okay, great. So, but anyway, this gentleman who's on income assistance, he paid her a small amount. He still owed her 1,000, and he's saying to me, he says, "Oh, It won't help me at the border. Like, no. And then, in addition, I didn't tell you guys, he already went down there anyway. DHS looked him up. So whether they looked him up or not, they still would have known. So he's like, oh, okay. So I said, why are you even spending this money? Why are you going to give this lawyer give her an extra 1,000? He said, oh, well, I already started. That's fine. Here's so that's fine. I said, look, here's your pardon. You can put it in a frame on your wall. Great. What else is it good for in your case? Because he income assistance. He's not trying to get another job. He doesn't need a security license. He says, well, nothing really. Okay, then why are you giving her another 1,000 when it's great for your wall, wall decoration? Why are you doing it? And he couldn't answer the question. He said, what do I tell her? Tell her the truth. Tell her you don't want to continue. If you feel like you don't want to continue, tell her you don't want to continue. Just my suggestion. I'm not advising him. I'm just giving him a suggestion. And I mean, it's what I would do. He can do what he wants. That's what I would do. Then he brought up Matthias, and you guys are well aware. And I talked about Matthias in 2019, 2020. And you guys know I used to live in the European Union, and you guys know which country I used to live in. So I will say it's right next to Russia, the country I lived in. Now, I almost said something else that was political. Now, Matthias, basically every foreign national who does not have EU status will have to get pre-cleared, and apparently it's coming out October 2026 to enter the EU. So they're going to do they're going to ask, a bunch of background questions, right? So they're going to ask you about criminality. Now, you guys better be careful with this. And again, I'm not advising you guys do what you want. You guys think you get these pardons and think you're going to hide it from Matthias. If and or when they find out, you guys are screwed royally. The European Union does not play with that stuff. Now, again, having lived in the EU for 5 years, I know just how they are. And we're going to start doing EU immigration law anyway next year. Add it on. Sorry, EU migration law. The old day they call it migration. We're going to start doing that next year. So you guys get caught lying to the European Union. And I'm not going to say false statements. I'm going to say lying. You guys get caught lying to the European Union. You guys are going to have a very bad day. Because the EU, they don't play with that kind of stuff. So you guys need to stop believing these lawyers and discount waiver companies telling you, oh, hey, get a pardon, and they won't know it. You can play that game if you want. Roll the dice. Will you get through? Maybe. Never know. But you get caught, great chance. You get caught, you are screwed. The EU does not play, and nor does DHS for this stuff. Because that's actually a violation under 18 USC. So, guys, stop believing nonsense about these Canadian pardons getting you cleared to enter the USA. They don't get you cleared to enter the USA. A Canadian pardon clears you in Canada. A Canadian pardon is not recognized by DHS. Certain crimes require a US entry waiver. Mischief doesn't. Drug trafficking, I'll say drug trafficking, fraud, forcible confinement, kidnapping. I'll just kind of leave it at that because the thing is, some of these other crimes you think will require a waiver don't. And I had to bite my tongue. I almost let something slip because I don't want these discount waiver companies looking at this material, which they always do, to do what they can to keep the lights on, trying to reverse engineer it and gaining some of my info and try to monetize it. That's not going to happen. But bottom line, I'm not going to bore you guys, and I hate to sound like a parrot. One guy commented and said, "Why do you repeat yourself?" And I repeat myself because some people that watch this channel, let's be honest, they are intellectually challenged. In the past, they were intellectually challenged. I'll say that. So sometimes I have to keep repeating myself so these people understand it. So that's why I do that. Anyway, remember, a Canadian pardon is not recognized at DHS. Bottom line, end of story. If you have a relevant conviction or you admit to committing a relevant crime that makes you inadmissible, then yes, you need a U.S. entry waiver. And that's a topic for another video. Ken Scott, Senior, U.S. Immigration Law Intelligence Analyst for US Entry Waiver Services.com. Huh? Oh, you again. That's 888-908-384. Come here. There. All right. She always wants to be on the camera when I'm doing a video. It's crazy. Anyway, guys, I'm done. So, in the words of my Vulcan colleague, live long and prosper.